Hi, I'm DM Rasul Hassan. I'm majoring in computer science. This semester I took English 1120 class. I learned a lot of techniques on how to be a better writer. The class was divided into 4 sequences: sequence 0, 1, 2, and 3. Each sequence had its own learning outcomes and shared some other learning outcomes. Sequence 0 was more of an introductory sequence to have us introduced to the class structure and syllabus. Today I'm going to talk about the sequence 1 and analyze its components. So let's start. First I'm going to look into the main purposes of the sequence. In my opinion, the main purposes of the sequence were familiarizing with pre-writing and research activities. By pre-writing activities I mean doing the appropriate research on the topic, finding reliable sources, making comparisons among sources, developing a thesis statement, etc. etc. Learning how to write profiles. Learning profiles is a very important genre of composition. This sequence was designed to teach us different techniques for writing profiles. And finally, understand the importance of rhetorical situation in writing. Every composition is structured keeping the rhetorical situation in mind. The sequence helped us understand the importance of rhetorical situation when writing a composition or article. These are the main purposes, not the only purposes of the sequence. All the outcomes of the sequence will be explained at the end of this presentation. Now let's take a look at the assignments of the sequence. The first writing assignment of the sequence was short writing assignment 1. We were to write a profile on an underworld myth from around the world. By underworld myth, I mean people's beliefs on the afterlife. People from different countries and different cultures have different beliefs about the afterlife. Each of us chose a belief system and wrote a profile on that. And our medium was Daily Lobo, and the audience was UNM students, faculty, and staff. The genre, as I already said, it was a profile. I myself wrote an article on Chumben, a Cambodian festival and national holiday. It's a 14 days long festival where Cambodians cook food for the deceased loved ones with the belief that the hungry ghost souls come to this world on the final day of this 14 days festival to have food. So it was a very interesting topic and I had so much fun writing a profile on this topic. Now let's look at the outcomes of sequence 1. First, we'll learn how to do research on a topic before writing on that topic. I had no idea that such a festival exists in Cambodia. I did extensive research on different death cultures around the world and found Chumben to be a perfect topic for my article. The research helped me develop my thesis statement, which was, the tradition in Cambodia, in my opinion, is a reflection of their sense of responsibility to their loved ones. Then the next outcome that we learned, the next thing that we learned was how to write a profile. I learned techniques of writing a profile during this assignment. I learned how a profile starts with an introduction and a thesis statement, then provides background information on the place, person, or event, and discusses the important aspects that validate writer's thesis statement, and finally closes with a conclusion. And the final outcome of this short writing assignment was rhetorical situation. This is one of the outcomes that I always keep learning with every assignment. In this case, as the audience was UNM students, faculty, and staff, I neither wrote the article using very complex words that the students won't like, nor I wrote the article using very casual words or sentence structures that the teachers won't like. Now let's move to the second assignment of the semester, which was short writing assignment 2. We were to write we were to create an annotated bibliography, and we needed to list the sources that we would use for MWA 1, which is our major writing assignment 1. This assignment was basically a more rigorous approach to learning how to conduct research, find sources, and cite them in the writing. Additionally, we had to analyze the rhetorical situation of the sources, explain how the source can be helpful for the intended topic. By intended topic, I mean the topic that we were to write about in our major writing assignment 1. Like the previous assignment, research was a very important outcome of this assignment. So we did a lot of research to find the sources that we wanted to write about, to find the sources on the topic that we wanted to write about. Now we had to cite at least 8 sources, and finding 8 reliable sources that matches our requirements on the topic is not easy. So we had to do a lot of research. Then for this assignment, we learned how to find resources. We learned how to use different libraries and online resources. We learned the difference between the primary sources and the secondary sources. We understood what a peer-reviewed source is. Basically, we learned how to find reliable sources, if I want to put it in one sentence. And one of the most important outcomes of this assignment was APA citation style. Well, at least for me. A lot of other students used MLA citation or Chicago citation depending on what their academic field uses. Citation is very important, and a lack of proper citation can be considered as plagiarism. That's why learning APA citation style was a very helpful outcome from this assignment. We had many other non-writing assignments in this semester. For example, reading From Here to Eternity. This book is about death cultures from different countries. For example, USA, Mexico, Japan, Indonesia, etc. Besides learning about different death cultures from around the world, we gained important reading skills by reading this book. Next, it was reading Writing Today. The chapters that we read were Profiles, Starting Your Research, and the Annotated Bibliography. This is actually one of our textbooks. We learned how to compose a profile, conduct research before writing on a topic, and how to create annotated bibliographies from reading these chapters. Then we worked a lot with the Pardo Owl. The Pardo Owl is a website that has the necessary resources to learn how to create a citation on any citation format. It might be MLS, Chicago, or APA. It has all kinds of resources on the citation styles. Next, the peer review sessions. The peer review sessions were particularly helpful because we could compare our own writing with the writings of our peers. Also, we could get important feedback from our peers and make necessary corrections as needed. Well, at this point, after doing all these activities, we needed to write the major writing assignment 1. And let's take a look what we learned until this point. We learned rhetorical situation, how to conduct a research, how to find credible sources, APA citation style, and we learned the genre profile. And at this point, we are ready for writing major writing assignment 1. For major writing assignment 1, we were to compose a research paper on a chosen death practice from an angle of my major or our majors. The rhetorical situation, the audience was the peers of English 120 class, and the genre was research paper. I'm a computer science major, and initially I thought that it's impossible to write on death culture from an angle of my major. Also, I hadn't written any research paper before, but all the skills I learned until this point helped me. I knew how to conduct research. After doing quite a lot of research, I found a lot of implementations of technologies in like augmented reality, artificial intelligence, social media applications that relate to the death and mourning. That's why I turned out. That's why it turned out to be quite easy job for me to do, to write a research paper on death culture from an angle of computer science. Finally, the learning outcomes of sequence 1. I have already talked about the rhetorical situation and genre, and I have talked about how rhetorical situation and genre impacted our writing structure, our article structure, and the choice of words and sentence structures, etc. Then comes writing as a social act. I always kept in mind who I am writing for and the social impact of my writing. I had to make sure that I didn't write anything that would hurt someone's feelings and still bring up the important facts and main points. Next, writing as a process. The outcome writing as a process is very obvious for this sequence. Everything I did learn until MWA1 prepared me for MWA1. It was a long process where every step was important. Then grammar and uses. The grammar and uses is a very important outcome from the sequence. Peer reviews helped me a lot in making sure that the compositions were grammatically correct. Also, reading materials helped me a lot to understand how to use an efficient sentence structure and accurate words to write an articulate composition. Then comes the reflection. After all the assignments of the sequence were done, I did a reflection on how I developed as a writer in the sequence, the new tools and technologies I learned in this semester, and how they will help me in my career. And finally, research is something that I've been talking about all along. Finally, I would like to say that being from the science background where research work carry the utmost importance, the techniques that I learned in this sequence will help me with every step of my future. Thank you.